All right, so hopefully everybody on Facebook can now see and hear me. All right, we are live, so welcome to everybody on Facebook. For our workout today, we're doing Power Watts Home Workout 22, and it's called Deja Vu. And in this workout, we're going to be combining drills from previous trainings that we've done, but we're going to be combining them in a unique way to challenge your guys' endurance and to challenge your guys' anaerobic repeatability. So I'll tell you a little bit more about it in a moment. We're going to be getting started in about 2 minutes time. So make sure that you guys load up your workouts, whether you're using the app, Trainer Road, Zwift, whatever you're using, your Garmin head unit. You can see the countdown timer right beside me, so you can try to time the start of your workout just right. All right, guys. And we still got a couple others joining in. And Mean Gene, could you just pedal for a sec? Yeah, perfect. That's great. And Big Nick, did you have a question? All good. All right. Okay, guys, so we're going to be getting started in just about a minute's time. And we have a demo user with us. Hugh, are you there? Perfect. I can hear you, but I couldn't see your video. I wasn't sure if you were there or not. Welcome to Power Watts at Home, Hugh. If you want to start your video, I'll be able to see you. There we go. Yeah, dialed in. Fantastic. Amazing. And I was able to see your power output in the gauge. Fantastic. So thanks so much for joining us today, Hugh. So for everybody else, Hugh, it's his first time riding. And just so you guys know, like any good cyclist, Hugh has arrived already with his excuses. Supposedly he did a big race yesterday. How'd that go, Hugh? Was it a rough ride yesterday? Uh, wow, and how'd you do? How'd it go for you? Okay, fantastic. So today's workout, just so you know, is not exactly that easy of a workout. So you might have to choose to go below the targets here and there. By default, I don't know if you've set your FTP value or not. Right now you're riding at 200 watts, so hopefully that's not too big of a load. Okay, fantastic. So you already adjust that. So great. So thanks so much for joining in, Hugh. We're very excited to have you participating in the workout today. All right, guys. So we are on the first part of the warm-up. And the first part of our warm-up, we're just going to be riding nice and steady at 50% to prepare the legs for what's coming. And then for the remainder of the warm-up, we're just going to be slowly increasing the power output. So we're going to go from 50% to 60 to 75 to 90%. So just a slow increase in power. So that's going to be the first 10 minutes. And that's going to be our general warm-up. Then after our general warm-up, we are going to do a specific warm-up. The specific warm-up is 3 times 40 seconds, where you guys are going to be accelerating to 100% at low cadence, 110% at high cadence, and 120% standing. So we're going to try to prime your bodies with those 3 40-second efforts. So that way when we start our first drill today is going to start off at 100%. You will already prepared by going up to powers like 110 and 120%. So when your body's primed like that, when we start the workout at 100%, it'll feel a little bit more comfortable. So that's what we're going to be doing. So first 10 minutes, gradual buildup of power, and then 3 40-second surges to 100, 110, and 120%. All right, and now let's just do a brief overview of what our workout is today. So our workout has 3 parts to it. The first part, we're going to be doing a climbing drill. It's going to extend some of the fitness that we worked on specifically in the last workout. The last workout that we did, you guys did some 10-minute climbing segments. In this particular workout, we're going to do 5 climbing segments, but the durations are shorter. We're going to do 1 minute, 1 minute 15 seconds, 1 minute 30 seconds, 1 minute 45 seconds, and 2 minutes. So the 1 minute effort is going to be at 100%, and you're going to be at a low cadence like 60 to 80 on the RPM. And then after that, we're going to do 1 minute 15 seconds at a slightly higher power, but still at low cadence. And then when we go to 1 minute 30 seconds, the power is going to be higher still. And we're going to build our way up to a 2-minute effort at 110%. However, those are not the only elements to that particular drill. After each simulated climb, you guys are going to be doing a 45-second segment at 70% watts at 100 to 120 RPM. So after the lower RPM climbing, or the lower RPM simulated climbing, we're going to come off of that, take a very short rest period, and then go to 70% and 100 and 120, between 100 and 120 RPM to work that leg speed and get that cadence back up in between the climbs. So it's going to be a pretty rapid fire drill, guys. You're going to do a simulated climb for a minute, 15 seconds rest, 45 seconds high cadence, 15 seconds rest, then another climb. And we're going to do that 5 times in a row. Okay, guys, so now we're up to 60%. So we're going to do 3 minutes now at 60% watts. So good work off the start in the initial warm-up. And I can see we have Sting joining us. So thanks for joining in, Sting. You're still just getting set up, but we're glad to have you. So that's going to be our first drill, guys. So simulated climbing with some high cadence work at an aerobic power in between. Our second exercise, we're going to do 10 times 30-second efforts with 1 minute recovery in between. That's a lot like the ISN Power Watts Pro Challenge that we did many weeks ago. That was one of the week 8 workouts. It was workout number 8, and we're on workout number 22 now. But today, instead of you guys going all out for each of the 30-second efforts, the power target is 150%, which might feel all out for some of you, but for others, 150% won't quite be a maximal effort. And what we're going to do during those 10 times 30 seconds is we're going to be practicing different strategies on how to approach a 30-second effort on each one of them. So for example, we're going to do one of them sitting at a high cadence. We're going to do another one sitting at a low cadence. Then we're going to do one standing the entire time. Then we're going to do another one where you start sitting and finish standing. Then we're going to do another one where you start standing and you finish sitting. So that way we're going to explore multiple different ways to approach a 30-second effort. So it's going to build a lot of skill, it's going to build a lot of fitness, but most of all, it's going to build awareness on what the optimal 30-second strategy is for you. And that matters because our final drill of the day today, after we do the 10 times 30 seconds, we're going to take a lengthy rest, and then we're going to do a 30-second max power drill, where for 30 seconds, you guys are going to go as hard as you can to see the highest power output that you can produce for 30 seconds. And after those 10 times 30-second efforts, you'll have a pretty good idea if you should be doing it standing all the way, if you should start standing and finish sitting, or you're going to do it sitting with high cadence. So you have a chance to experiment with all that before we do that max effort. So I'll tell you guys a few more pointers about a 30-second max effort in just a moment, just so you can start to wrap your heads around a little bit how you want to approach a 30-second max effort, and how that'll be a little bit different than doing a 30-second effort at a non-maximal power like 150%. Okay, guys, so in 10 seconds, we're going to be going up to 75% watts, so you can bring the level of effort up just a little bit. Anybody riding at home that doesn't have access to power, 75%, you can ride at maybe a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 at this point. And then the last minute at 90%, bring it up to a 7.5 or 8 out of 10 effort. So Sting, thanks for joining us. How are you doing today? Not too bad. Well, we'll see. I think you might. So Sting mentioned that she went for a run this morning. I think the 30-second ones will actually be okay. You might have a little bit more difficulty with this climbing drill that we're doing at the beginning with the slightly longer efforts. But by doing the double workout, you'll definitely build a lot of fitness. And if you ever choose to do a duathlon in the future, the duathlon starts with the run, and then the bike is after, and then there's another run after. So you're building specific fitness for that. So thanks for joining us, Sting. All right, guys. So we got 2 minutes left in the warm-up. Again, this is just the general warm-up, and then we're going to go into the specific warm-up afterwards. Trophy Wife, how's everything going over there? So we're at 75% for 2 minutes. So you're on 3 minutes at 60%? Okay. And could you fast forward to the next workout step? Okay. Yeah, I'm sure he could tell you how to get that set up. So hopefully you'll get that worked out pretty soon, Trophy Wife. Okay, guys, so now last minute of the general warm-up. So let's bring it up. 1 minute at 90% watts. Then after this, we have only a 1 minute recovery period before we do our specific warm-up. So just coming back briefly to that 30-second max effort that I told you guys about that we're going to do at the end. The best way to approach a 30-second max effort is not by pacing yourself and gradually increasing your power over the 30 seconds. The best pacing strategy, in fact, is to start it as if it's like a sprint, and then your watts will gradually decrease over the course of the 30 seconds. But what you're trying to do by working really hard is limit that decrease over the course of the 30 seconds. So I mentioned that. Now I'm going to remind you guys again later. So when we go for a maximal effort that's short, anything less than 2 minutes, you want to start hard and then kind of hang on to the effort as it progresses in order to get the best possible results. Okay, so we got 1 minute of recovery now, guys. So for a 30-second effort, practicing quickly accelerating, whether you do it sitting or whether you do it standing, that quick acceleration off the start is going to be very important. So that's something that we are going to practice during the 10 times 30-second efforts. I'm going to encourage you guys to practice accelerating with your foot just in the right spot on the pedal stroke to get the most bang for your buck for your acceleration. If you start the 30-second effort with a really good acceleration, your likelihood for success is going to be much higher for the entire duration. So the start is very important. All right, guys, so now we're going to do our specific warm-up. Our specific warm-up, we're going to start with a 40-second seated effort at 100%. We're going to go a bit low on the RPM here, guys. Okay, so go into a slightly harder gear. Keep the RPM between 60 and 80, so a little bit more muscular effort. Okay, so here we go. So let's bring it up. So ballpark 100% watts. Keep an eye on that cadence. Anyone using the app, if you see your cadence is red, go one gear harder to bring that cadence down. So we got some good numbers. So J-Train, well done on the watts cadence. Maybe one gear harder, J-Train. Just go a bit less than that 80. Big Nick, that's looking good. Hugh, that's looking good. Good work on the power and the cadence, working the slightly lower RPM grinding. Cyril, you can go. Yeah, there you go, Cyril. That's great. Mean Gene, good power, good cadence. Sting, good power, good cadence. Okay, so let's keep it up a couple more seconds. All right, and 1 minute of recovery. So that was just to get the more muscular effort going. Now the next one, we're going to do 110%, but at high cadence. So right away, everyone take a look at your power output. Go to about 50 or 60% watts. Okay, so a moderate power, and go to about 90 RPM. So this way, when it's time to do the acceleration, you guys will quickly increase your cadence to above 100 RPM. And if it goes over 120, definitely go 1 or 2 gears harder. But practice accelerating by increasing that cadence to bring it up. Okay, so we're going to be doing that in 20 seconds. So I'm just looking at the power and cadences. They look pretty good here. Big Nick, maybe 1 gear easier. Okay, and we just want a quick acceleration via cadence here to get your leg spinning muscles ready to go. So here we go, guys. Let's build it up in 3, 2, 1, and you're off. When the cadence is a bit higher like this, good idea to tuck the bum a little bit, scooch forward on the saddle a little bit, and you can compact the upper bodies by getting a little bit of an extra bend in the elbows. That'll help avoid too much bouncing in the upper body. And so Hugh, try going 1 gear easier there just to get that leg speed up a little bit more. There you go. So keep that up, Hugh. So we got 10 more seconds here, guys. Wow, Sting, great work on the cadence. Big Nick, wow. Big Nick and J-Train, big numbers on the cadence. So super job, guys. So 3, 2, 1, and back it off. So 1 minute of recovery. Okay, so just a reminder, in our first drill, we're going to be doing all the high powers at lower cadence, and we're going to be doing the lower powers at higher cadence. So you're going to have to use the leg spinning that you guys just used, but you're going to be doing it at 75% as opposed to doing it at 110% like you just did. All right, guys, so now, last piece. We are going to be doing 40 seconds at 120%. We're going to be doing it standing, and for the entire 40 seconds. So Mean Gene, do your best to stand for the whole 40 seconds, experimenting with different body positions. And I think some of you will be pretty happy to do this standing for the whole 40 seconds. This is to prepare you guys in case you want to do any standing during our simulated climbing drill coming up. Okay, so good work, guys. Everyone build your power up just a bit, 50, 60%. Okay, so start getting up out of the saddle, guys. Get a little force down into the pedals. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go. And it's choice RPM on the standing. Most riders standing. There you go, Hugh. Fantastic. And good work, Mean Gene. So it's your choice on your standing cadence. So Sarah, you can go into harder gear if you want, if you feel like you're standing at too high of an RPM. Big Nick, nice standing cadence. J-Train, nice standing cadence. Way to be, Hugh. Good position. Keep that up, Hugh. So a couple more seconds, guys. And then we're going to take our 3-minute break after the specific warm-up. All right, so 3, 2, 1, and back it off. Great stuff, guys. 3 minutes of recovery. So Trophy Wife, quick question. Did you manage to get synced up? Okay. So just so that I know you're like 2 minutes behind or something like that. Okay, perfect. And hopefully, if you can get, you might be able to press like space bar on the keyboard or something like that to jump to the next workout step. I'm not sure, but something like that works. Yeah, so you could play around with that. All right, guys. So great job on the warm up. So Hugh, how's everything going over there? You're following along well. All right, and how the legs doing? Yeah, yeah. I think you'll probably be feeling them most of the session today. But great start, Hugh. Way to follow along thus far. And Cyril, how you doing so far in the warm up? How is that standing effort for you? Okay, perfect. And Mean Gene, how you doing thus far? How is the 40-second standing for you? Okay, good. And I would encourage you to add a little bit of standing into this simulated climbing drill that we're going to be doing, but maybe just 15-second chunks here and there. Okay, great. And Big Nick and J-Train, how's everything going for you guys thus far? So far, so good. Everything's okay with Big Nick? Yes, he seems to be off the bike. Oh, greasing the chain. You're looking to get some wattage savings there with a fresh coat of grease. There you go, Big Nick. It's amazing what it feels like, a freshly clean chain. Okay, so great stuff, guys. So warm-up's good. Everyone looks like they're feeling good. Power numbers thus far are good. So we are going to start our first exercise. It's a simulated climbing drill. Remember, there's 5 climbs. The first one we're going to do 1 minute. It's 1 minute at 100% watts, so not killer on the power or on the duration, and 60 to 80 on the RPM. What I want you guys to imagine is I want you to imagine like you're riding with another rider who is setting the pace for you. So instead of trying to kill the 100%, you want to try to hold that 100% in a way that you're trying to conserve as much energy as you can while you're following another rider. Okay, so that's the mindset that you want to take over the course of this exercise. So let's get ready to go up to 100% watts. Okay, so let's bring those watts up. Give yourselves, a good 20, 30 seconds to get the watts and the cadence combination. Once you have the watts and cadence combination, then you just settle into that effort for the remaining duration of the minute. Just to also refresh your memories on what's coming next, right after this, we have a 15-second recovery period. Then you're going to do 45 seconds at 70%, 100 to 120 on the RPM. So after this low RPM effort, we're going to switch to a higher RPM effort, and you want to think of that as trying to be like an active recovery segment, something that we've worked on in the last several sessions, especially the workout, if you guys remember the workout Lactate Shuttle, where we practice quickly going from a high power to an active recovery power. Okay, so great start on the first climb, guys. Everyone looks like they conserved their energy well. So now it's just a short 15-second recovery. So now go several gears easier here. And now already start to build your watts up to 70% and 100 to 120 RPM. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go, guys. 100 to 120 on the RPM. And get to the RPM target by adjusting your gears as opposed to just staying in the same gear and pushing the watts too high. Keep those watts on target and work the leg speed. J-Train and Big Nick, great work, guys, on the power and the cadence. Hugh, that's fantastic. Great work. Great, almost bang on the power. Cadence in the... Maybe go one gear easier, Hugh, for the cadence. And Cyril, that's looking good. Mean Gene and Sting back on the bike, so that's looking good. So a couple more. Yeah, there you go, Hugh. Keep that up. So a couple more seconds, guys, working the spin a little bit more. Okay, and now 15 seconds recovery. So go several gears harder during this recovery segment to get ready for the next climb. So it's longer. It's 1 minute 15 seconds, and it's at a slightly higher power, 102.5 or 103% here. Okay, so let's bring it up. So now we're going a little bit over that 100%. And back to that grinding style. Mean Gene, way to get up out of the saddle. Way to start it off standing. And the goal here is, again, to continue with the low cadence. You could choose to do it sitting. You could choose to do it standing. So a little trick. Wow, Mean Gene, great job still standing up here. Those of you guys that are currently sitting, a little trick that you can use for this one is to lean forward a little bit without adding extra pressure onto your hands. When you lean forward a little bit, you want to allow the weight to fall into your pedals instead. So that's allowing the weight of your body to assist the strength of your legs in applying a downforce to the pedals. So it's subtle. It's just a slight lean forward so that you feel like slightly off balance, but you catch your balance via the pressure on your legs instead of putting more tension onto your handlebars. This is something that does happen a little bit more naturally when your bike's on an incline. You have to lean forward because the bike's on an incline. Right now our bikes are on a flat, so it's good for you just to think about inclining forward a touch. All right, guys, so 15-second recoveries. So power outputs and cadences look good across the board. So a little bit of recovery. Now go 2, 3, 4 gears easier to get ready to go to 70% high cadence. So here we go, guys. Back to 70%. Back to a high cadence, 100 to 120 on the RPM. So at the higher cadence, I'll repeat a trick I mentioned during the warm-up that maybe you didn't catch. You guys can think about tucking the bums just a little bit more, sliding forward on the saddle a touch. You can even also think about dropping the toes a little bit at the higher cadence. When your toes are dropped a little bit more, it gives you better access to the top and the bottom of the pedal stroke, which is very important for successful high RPM pedaling. So you guys can think about that and experiment with that tactic. So power and cadences are looking good. J-Train, way to challenge yourself on the cadence. Fantastic job. All right, so 3, 2, 1, and short break. Okay, 15 seconds. Now let's go a couple gears harder. Now the next one, it's a minute and a half, so a little bit longer. Higher power, 105%. Still 60 to 80 on the RPM. Okay, so let's make it happen. So here we go, guys. 3, 2, 1, and you're off. 105 on the percent. 60 to 80 on the RPM. So we got Big Nick and Mean Gene standing. That's great. These are two riders that don't normally stand, so I'm glad to see you guys challenging yourselves. Good work on the power, J-Train. Good work on the cadence as well. So Big Nick, good control. Keep in mind this idea that you're imagining like you're following another rider in this process. You're trying not to pass the person. You're trying to stay at that power, make it feel as comfortable as you can. So good work, Hugh. I mean, just if your legs are a little fatigued, just keep doing what you're doing. If you can, though, bring the power up just a smidgen, just a little bit. Good. So Cyril, great work on the power. Mean Gene, good work on the power and on the cadence. And Sting, good work on the power and the cadence. Sting, just for fun, go one gear harder. And then really practice this idea of leaning into the pedals and getting your body weight into the pedals without standing up. So good work, guys. So we got another 25 seconds. If anyone needs to mix it up, you could transition into standing at any point, or you can experiment with that tactic of leaning forward into the pedals. Nice transition to standing, Big Nick. I'm really glad to see when you transitioned, your watts went up into the red momentarily. That shows good technique. Okay, so keep it up. A couple more seconds before a very short recovery period again. So 3, 2, 1, and 15 seconds of recovery. Good, well done, guys. So next, high cadence, 70%, 100 to 120 RPM. Get into a gear that's a little bit too easy. Okay, and let's bring that cadence up. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So 70%, 100 to 120 on the RPM. So we're trying to get that leg speed back up. One of the nice things about riding at a power output like 70%, I mean, it's definitely not complete recovery here, but it's a great power output to teach your body to recycle and reuse the waste products that you produced during that 90-second effort at over 100%. You're actually setting yourself up for a better execution of the next little hill that's going to be coming up, which is going to be 1 minute and 45 seconds. So good work overall on the power and on the cadences. Good, yeah, keep that up, Hugh. Well done, Cyril. Well done, Mean Gene. Sting, another solid effort on the cadence. And wow, J-Train, 115 average RPM. Super job, J-Train. And Big Nick, 109 on the average RPM. Okay, guys, so let's get into a gear that's a little bit too hard. 1 minute, 45 seconds at 107.5%. So push into those pedals. Maybe get up out of the saddle to do the acceleration. And so here we go, guys. And Trophy Wife, wherever you are in the workout, keep up the good work. You're looking good, and that's what counts, right? Looking good on the bike is just as important, or more important. So that's fantastic. Okay, so as the effort level increases, remember you have that little trick where you can lean forward a bit and let your weight fall into the pedals for you. Another very helpful trick is if you're starting to feel pressure accumulate maybe towards the lower part of your thigh or inside part of the thigh, you can transfer the pressure from the inside of the foot to the outside of the foot. Think about putting the pressure more towards the outside ball of your foot, just behind your baby toe. And that transfers the pressure more to the lateral or the outside part of your quad. And little subtle adjustments like that. You know, some pedal strokes normal, some pedal strokes on the outside of the foot, and maybe some pedal strokes standing. You can cycle through that, and you can learn to utilize different muscles throughout this process. So way to be, Hugh. Keep up that power and cadence. Big Nick, great control, 113%. J-Train, nice standing position, 112% average here. So we got Sarah looking good. Great work on the power, good energy conservation. Mean Gene working that low cadence. Good, way to be, Sting. Way to get your weight into the pedals. That's a great position you're in. Keep that up, Sting. So let's keep going all the way. Every second counts here, especially near the end of the drills. You tend to develop more fitness than near the beginning, so keep that effort up all the way. So 3, 2, 1. All right, so little recovery. I'm sure the level of effort is starting to accumulate here. So quickly into easier gears. We have one more high cadence segment before our final climb. So let's go, guys. 3, 2, 1. Couple gears easier. 100 to 120 RPM. 70% watts. Good work, guys. So try to find or utilize muscles that are different than the ones that you just used for the climbing. That grinding action might access one part of your thighs. So the spinning action of the pedaling, you could try to use a different part of your thighs to take some pressure off the muscles that you're going to feel on the final climb here. And again, little things like changing the angle of your foot can be helpful. Sliding forward or back on the saddle could be helpful to find these different muscles. Good, so keep that up, Hugh. Great work on the cadence. 100, just over 100 RPM. So super job, J-Train, Big Nick. Good work, Sting. Way to be, Mean Gene on the cadence. 100 on the RPM. Sting, 107 on the RPM. Okay, everyone, get into a gear that's a little bit too hard. Final climb, 2 minutes at 110%. This brings us to the end of our first drill. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go, guys. You're off. So get off to a good start. The first 30 seconds is essentially you guys just settling into a rhythm. And then the key point is going to be from 30 seconds to 90 seconds. We're going to really focus on maybe your pedaling technique or focus on your power output, keeping it steady to work through that most difficult portion, the middle of the drill. And then in the final 30 seconds, I'm sure everyone will feel good, come on strong. Good, so way to be, guys. So you got several different options. You can stand up whenever you want. You could sit further back on the saddle. Think about pushing forward and down on the pedals. You can sit further forward and lean into the pedals like I described earlier. You could transfer pressure to different parts of the feet. So play around with these different tactics. So J-Train, well done. Almost bang on 110%. Keep that up. Wow, Big Nick putting out the big watts here, 120 on the percent. Super job, Hugh. Great work on the power and the cadence, 111%, 72 RPM. So we got Cyril at 114%. Mean Gene, keep it up, Mean Gene. Keep working that strength. You just got to build up your average watts a bit. You too, Sting. I think both of you may have started a second or two late. So Sting and Mean Gene, we want to see a strong last 30 seconds to bring those average watts up. And keep going, Trophy Wife. Keep it up. So we're in the last 30 seconds, guys. And if anyone's feeling okay here, feel free to go up a little bit over the 110. But just keep in mind, we still got those 10 times 30 seconds to do. All right, so Sting and Mean Gene, you're at 109% average. Keep building up that average bit by bit. So Hugh, way to be, 112%. So you're good. Cyril, you're good at 110%. Big Nick, 123%. J-Train, 113. So fantastic efforts, guys. So let's back it off. So 3 minutes of recovery. Super job. And Mean Gene and Sting, way to gradually build up the power on that 2-minute one to get to that 110%. Okay, so a little bit of recovery, guys. So J-Train, let us know how you doing so far. You're beat. That's a deceivingly difficult little drill that we did there. And Big Nick, how about you? You did a great job, Big Nick. Good control near the beginning, and then you kept building up your watts at the end. So excellent work on your pacing. Oh, yeah. But still, what great effort, Big Nick. And so, Hugh, how did you find that exercise? And were you okay with the lower cadence leading into the higher cadence and vice versa? Okay, fantastic. Yeah, you can see the averages, you can see the current cadences, so that helps to follow along. So great work, Hugh. Way to follow along well on your first Power Watts at Home workout. And Sting, how was that exercise for you? Oh, I'm glad you did that. You're saving those standing legs. You're thinking about that 30-second max at the end. I'm sure of it. Oh, I didn't have to say it 4 times. Good way to be, Sting. And Mean Gene, how'd you find that drill? Really great progression on the power output, Mean Gene, and great work to stand a lot more than you normally would, so I'm glad to see you practicing that. And Cyril, how'd you find that drill? Great, so great level of effort, Cyril. Really bang on the watts throughout. All right, guys, so now we're going to move into our second drill of the day. 10 times 30-second efforts, all of them at 150%. So the first one, we're going to be at 150%, and you guys want to try to get your cadences somewhere between 100 and 110 RPM. So we'll call this a slightly higher cadence surge. So look at your power output now. Get to about 50 or 60% watts, and get to about 80 or 85 RPM. So that way, when you accelerate, you'll be able to quickly increase your cadence to get to 150%, and then you might have to change gears during the effort. So a little bit more effortful here, guys. All right, so here we go. Let's kick it up to 150. The first one might be a bit of a shock to the system here. But then after we've done 2 or 3 of these, I think you guys will be okay. So we're looking for higher cadence. If you end up a bit over 110, that's fine too. But we just want you guys to be doing it via leg speed. Sting, you can go 1 gear harder if you want to hang on. Big Nick, you can go 1 gear harder to keep your power under control. And so Hugh, you might not go all the way to 150% here if the legs are a little sore. That is 300 watts. But just keep following along with the cadence. Okay, guys, so 1 minute recovery. So there you go. There's the first one done. So that one was sitting, and we'll call that higher cadence. So the next one that we're going to be doing it standing. So we're going to stand for the entire 30 seconds. And nothing fancy about the standing here, using whatever technique you want. We do have several standing segments coming up that I'm going to give you guys different technical cues and pointers on it. But on this first one, stand however you'd like. We got to get to 150% watts though, so make sure that the acceleration is quick and that you get to that 150%. And while you're standing, if you find your cadence is too high, don't hesitate to go 1, 2, 3 gears harder to sustain it. Okay, so everyone, get to about 50 or 60% watts to have a little bit of momentum leading in. And we're about to stand up and go in 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, and kick it up, and here we go. So standing up, using whatever strategy or tactic you usually use, aiming for around 150%. So we got some really solid standing cadences here, guys. Keep up the good work. Try to get your weight down into the pedals as well, especially at 150%. So a couple more seconds. Let's go all the way, guys. All right, and let's back it off so you have 1 minute of recovery. So while it's fresh in your mind, just contrast the effort sitting versus the effort standing. I know which ones of you will find the standing one easier, but some of you might be in between. You know, the standing and the high cadence may have felt about the same. So now we're going to try a slightly different tactic. We're going to do it sitting, but at a slightly lower cadence. So not crazy low, but let's aim for 80 to 90 RPM sitting. So it's a little bit more muscularly oriented. So this time, when you're doing the lead up, so right now actually, look at your power. Get to about 50% now. Look at your cadence. Get between like 70, maybe around 70 RPM. And then use that gear to do your acceleration. So a little bit more muscular acceleration. And if your RPM goes over 90, go a gear harder to keep the RPM in the neighborhood of 80 to 90. So 3, 2, 1. And here we go, guys. Let's kick it up. So 150%, 80 to 90 on the RPM. So you got to push here with real muscular strength. A little bit different than the spinning that we were doing before. So keep it up, J-Train. Yeah, just keep that force down into the pedals. Way to be, Big Nick. Really thriving on the lower cadence here. Great work, Hugh. You got to the power and the cadence on that one. All right, guys, so a little bit of recovery. So nice work, guys, on that one. So that was sitting moderate cadence, we'll call it. Some of you may have really enjoyed that one. Big Nick, maybe that's your comfort zone. For some riders, though, it's really difficult to get to 150% at a lower cadence like that. So just reflect on what your feeling was for that one. So now the next one, we're going to do standing all the way again. And what I want you guys to emphasize is I want you to emphasize the first 10 pedal strokes. So look at your power now. Get to 50 or 60%. And when you guys accelerate, stand up and push with your foot at the 2 or 3 o'clock position and quickly piston your legs for at least 10 pedal strokes without even looking at the gauge to shoot those watts up. Then look up at the gauge and adjust your intensity up or down as need be. Okay, so get ready, guys. First 10 pedal strokes. 3, 2, 1, and go. Quick drive. You might piston the legs up and down. You might really push down. Okay, and now start to adjust the power and stay standing, Cyril, on this one. Yeah, there you go. Everyone stay standing on this one. Hugh, if you could stand up without hurting yourself. Yeah, there you go. Go a couple gears harder, Hugh, so that the cadence is a bit lower. And keep it up, guys. Keep it going. Keep it going. And that's key technique, guys, when you start it off, to give that quick acceleration like that. So get a little bit of recovery. Okay, so well executed. So now we have another one coming up, but I just want you guys just to take a moment to think about those first 10 pedal strokes that you did. When we do the 30-second max at the end of the workout, it's going to be crucial that those first 10 pedal strokes are very explosive, even more explosive than what you just did. But you're going to be more well rested, so you'll be more prepared. The fatigue won't have accumulated as much. Okay, so now we got the last one that we're going to do with a cadence target. This time we're going to go very high on the RPM. We're going to aim for the neighborhood of 110 to 120 on the RPM. So look at your power now. Get to 50 or 60%. Get to like 90 RPM. And we're looking for a quick acceleration. And you want to try to stay over 110 RPM for the whole 30 seconds. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go. And you guys are going to have to really compact your upper bodies here. You got to tuck those elbows in, lean forward, tuck the bum, and just run over top of those pedals, guys. So Hugh, go one gear easier. So Big Nick, I imagine you're going up a hill. Keep it up, J-Train. Good way to be, Cyril. Maybe even one gear easier. Wow, Mean Gene, what cadence? You can go one gear harder if you want. Sting, incredible cadence. Good way to be, Hugh. Got almost there, almost there. All right, guys, and back it off. So super job. So great exercise on that one. So 1 minute of recovery. Now you can reflect. Sting, do you have a question? You're having the same problem, Sting? Okay, I'll see what I could do about that. Thank you for mentioning that, Sting. Okay, so hopefully, I'm just going to address that now. So get ready, guys. So the next one is 30 seconds standing. So we're going to stand for 30 seconds at 150%. If your gauge is a little bit off, just do your best to follow along. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So let's keep it up, guys. Working that 30-second standing effort here. Okay, so I just had to, we're just trying to resolve the issue that you guys are having right now. So next up, we are going to be changing our technique a little bit. So we've just done, we've done standing all the way, we've done sitting all the way. So for our last couple reps here, we're going to be trying to alternate between sitting and standing during the 30-second effort. So for the first one here, for the first 15 seconds, you can sit at whatever cadence you want, at whichever cadence felt most comfortable earlier. and then it's going to be 15 seconds standing. Okay, so get ready, guys. So sitting acceleration, then standing in the final 15 seconds. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go, guys. So let's get ready to transition to standing. So a couple gears harder, 2, 3 gears harder, and up out of the saddle. Let's keep going. Good way to be, guys. Keep driving down on the pedals to hold that 150%. Great effort, J-Train. Good way to be, Hugh. So Sting, is it better now? Okay, so it's better now. Okay, perfect. So we should have resolved the issue on our side. So I'll ask you back in just a sec after the next rep. Okay, guys. So next rep, we're going to be standing up for 15 seconds and then sitting for 15 seconds. So I want you guys to stand up. I want you to think about that first 10 seconds where you're going to really piss in those legs to get the power up to 150% standing. And then after 15 seconds, you're going to sit down and sustain the 150%. So it's a 10 pedal stroke quick acceleration, then you stay standing till you get to 15 seconds, and then you sit down to finish it off. So let's see how that one goes. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go, guys. Kick it up, kick it up, kick it up. So quick accelerations. Really work those first few pedal strokes. Wow, some really great accelerations. Now stay standing, guys. Start to ease those watts down to 150. Anyone that's still above? Okay, and now have a seat. Have a seat. 150%. Keep up the power output. Good way to be, Hugh. Keep that force underneath the feet. Sting, Mean Gene, Cyril, great efforts, guys. Keep it up, J-Train. All right, good work, Big Nick. So J-Train, a trick specifically for you. The next time we go from standing to sitting, when you sit down, sit on the front tip of the saddle as if like you're not even on the saddle. So you still have a lot of weight onto the pedals, and like you just ride in that tip of the saddle position for the 15 seconds. And that might help a little bit during that transition period. Okay, guys, so now we're going to practice each one of these things once more. So we got 2 30-second efforts left. So now we're going to do 15 seconds sitting, 15 seconds standing. When you guys transition from the sitting into the standing, go 2 or 3 gears harder just before you stand up, and time it so that when you stand up, your foot's at the 2 to 3 o'clock position. So you literally throw yourself into the pedals at the 2 to 3 o'clock position, and that'll maintain or maybe even increase your watts over 150% at the end. Okay, so let's start sitting though. Let's start sitting. 3, 2, 1, and here we go, guys. So 150% sitting. Good accelerations across the board. Good way to be, Hugh. Keep it up. Now start adjusting the gears. Make the gearing adjustments. Okay, and throw yourself into the pedals at 2 or 3 o'clock. Oh, Big Nick, perfect execution. Hugh, great execution. Keep that up, Cyril. Way to be, Mean Gene. Way to be, Sting. J-Train, you're doing a great job on this one. Let's keep it up, guys. And back it off. So 1 minute of recovery. Wow. Some really, really great technique executed by you guys on that. So now we're going to try the standing going into sitting one more time. And then after this one, we have a long break. It's a 3 to 4 minute break after this one. You're going to start standing and you're going to finish sitting. If any of you guys have a really hard time going from standing power output to sitting power output, when you guys sit down, don't flop to the back of the saddle. Slowly ease your hips down to the tip of the saddle. So you are sitting, but you're pushing into the pedals with all your strength and all your weight to hang on for the last 15 seconds. Okay, so this is our last one of our 10 times 30 seconds. You guys are really doing a fantastic job here. All right, so let's get ready. Everyone, get a bit of momentum. Final 30-second effort of this drill starting in 3, 2, 1, and standing up. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So 15 seconds standing, and really focus as you transition to sitting, guys. Ease your hips down to the tip of the saddle and drive down on those pedals. Okay, here we go, sit down. Hang on to those watts. Give it everything you got here. Keep it up, J-Train. Good way to be Cyril. Well done, Sting and Mean Gene. Big Nick, wow, great execution. Hugh, great effort there. Well done, Hugh. All right, guys, and back it off. So super job. So there you go. 10 times 30 seconds. That may have been brought back some fond memories, of course, of workout number 8, the ISN Power Watts Pro Challenge. Hopefully the memories were fond. Big Nick, I'm sure you remember it because you did it 4 times. So great stuff, guys. So Mean Gene, how did you find that exercise? Really well done on the sitting and on the standing. What are you thinking about for the 30-second max effort in terms of strategy you're going to use? And are you going to start standing or sitting, or you're not sure? Standing, fantastic. Yeah, and stand as long as you can, Mean Gene, and then transition to sitting maybe in the last few seconds if you need. Amazing. And J-Train and Big Nick, what's your plan for the 30-second max? Stand, yeah, J-Train, you definitely have to stand all the way. There's no doubt about that. And Big Nick, what are you going to do? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Big Nick, definitely starting standing is the way to go, but then potentially transition to sitting might be a good strategy for you. And Sting, what's your strategy? I don't need to ask. But so I do have one suggestion for you though, Sting. I would say start your standing on the hoods, and then after about 15 seconds, after 10 or 15 seconds, switch into the drops. That slight change in body angle, I think, will be really helpful in the last few seconds. And so, Hugh, maybe you won't be doing a 30-second max effort here, but which of those tactics work best for you? Standing all the way or sitting higher cadence? Okay, so you're going to try the 30 seconds sitting all the way? All right, fantastic. So just make sure that you give a good quick acceleration off the start to settle into your rhythm shortly after. Okay, guys, so just so you guys know what's coming up here, we're going to be starting with a 1-minute lead-up period. So we're going to do 30 seconds at 60%, 90 to 110 on the RPM. Just get the legs spinning a bit. Then we're going to do 30 seconds at 75%, 60 to 80 RPM to prepare you guys to accelerate. Okay, so let's go to 60% now. And just ease yourself up to 60% here. Somewhere between 90 and 110 on the RPM to get the leg speed going a bit. So some of you guys, couple gears easier. Yeah, you're getting there, Hugh. Maybe 1 gear easier. Okay, and then when we go to 75%, you want to be between 60 and 80 RPM. And that's going to be a really good acceleration gear for our 30-second max effort. Okay, so 75% now, 60 to 80 RPM. If you're going to accelerate sitting, you want to be closer to 80 RPM. If you're going to accelerate standing, you want to be, probably somewhere between 60 and 70 RPM. And now it's going to 30 seconds. It says 150% on screen here, guys, but I want you to do a 30-second absolute maximal effort. And then this is going to bring us to the end of the workout. So good luck, guys. Gears are looking good. Get ready to accelerate in 3, 2, 1, and drive down into those pedals. The acceleration's crucial, guys, so big accelerations. Excellent work. And now settle into a sustainable rhythm here. Sting, go a gear harder. Keep it up, J-Train. Keep it up, Mean Gene. Way to be, Cyril. Excellent job, Hugh. Wow, we're seeing some big numbers, Hugh. Super job. Keep it up, Big Nick. Okay, accelerate again, guys. Last 10 seconds. Increase your cadence. Whatever gear you're in, increase your cadence till the end. 3, 2, 1. And that's it. Wow, my goodness. Some massive, massive efforts that you guys put out there. Holy cow. So tremendous work, guys. I got some pretty big numbers on my screen here. And And Hugh, you led the way on that one in terms of a percentage wattage, 246 percent watts. So even at the reduced power, that's almost 500 watts. So way to be, Hugh. How'd you feel in that last 30 seconds? yeah, that's one way of putting it, I think. My God, Hugh, great, excellent work, and you had 111 on the RPM, so you went with the high RPM, high power approach. So tremendous work, Hugh. Great sitting acceleration. So another really high power output we have is from Cyril, 217% for that last 30 seconds. Wow, how are you feeling, Cyril? Oh, really? Wow. Well, still a tremendous result, despite the little issues that happened along the way. I'm just going to mute you, Cyril, because we're getting some feedback on there. So we got Mean Gene at 211%. So well done, Mean Gene. How'd you find that last 30 seconds? And you did it all at a pretty high cadence here. Even though you were standing, your average cadence was still 91. So that's really good standing technique, Mean Gene. Way to be. And Sting, 195% for the 30 seconds. So how was that for you, Sting? Well, you did a great job, Sting, and considering you did a run ahead of time, definitely lots of fatigue resistance and strength in the legs is being developed today. So super job, Sting. And we have Big Nick and J Train. So Big Nick 208% and J Train 166%. Way to be, guys. So how'd you feel on that last 30 seconds? Well, I'm glad you were able to squeeze 166% out of yourself on that one, though, J Train. That's a great effort. So you guys, so the zoom on your screen might be at like 110%. You might have to switch the zoom to 100% by pressing Control minus on your keyboard. You guys could try that and see if that works. All right, guys, so I'm just going to thank everybody on Facebook for joining us today on today's workout. We hope you had a great time in incorporating those endurance skills we did at the beginning, the anaerobic skills that we did in the middle, and the last exercise, that 30-second max, that's called anaerobic capacity. So thanks to all you guys for joining on Facebook. I am going to be sticking around on Zoom if you guys have any questions. Those of you guys on Facebook, thanks for joining in. Our next Power Watch session will be Saturday at 9 a.m., and I look forward to seeing you guys then.